But what about this name that I keep hearing? Whether it's in the chat, whether it's, mumbled around other NFL circles, Deshaun Watson. What about him?
I love Deshaun. Deshaun's one of my favorite quarterbacks. I think he's this quiet assassin out here that nobody's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they talk about all the quarterbacks and projected championships for next year, and I heard we done made Pat Mahomes mad already, but I'm like, Deshaun's still around here. He's a dog. He's a born winner. He's got an arm. He can run. He's got everything you want in a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's honestly one of my favorite quarterbacks. Like, I've loved him since Clemson. I just love Deshaun. And it's I don't know. It's interesting. I think if anybody could weather that storm, I think the Steelers and Mike Tomlin could weather that.
And see, I would agree, especially being here with the Vic situation, right?
The Vic situation.
Absolutely. We saw it firsthand how crazy it was all around us. But yet within that building, we were calm. I mean, we were able to maneuver through that. So what I ask is this: if you would make that move for a Deshaun, do you do it now when his market is as low as it can get because these allegations are still around, or do you wait until everything is completely cleared? But then obviously we know that market is going to shoot back up.
No, you do it right now. You do it yesterday. You do it. You do it. I think that I kept saying, I think that's the guy. I think if you trade for one, that's who you trade for, especially with all the drama.
And what do you think that market would be there for him, for a Deshaun?
And that's where it gets interesting because at the same time, he's still Deshaun. And I think the Texans know that. They took their time with this situation. They have been in no hurry. They got a new coach in there.
Yeah.
And he wants to reconcile all the problems. So it's like, I think they asked for something. I'm not just giving you. If I'm the Texans, I'm not just giving this away. Once again, right? I'll take my time with this again. I'm not just because this is a franchise quarterback. At the end of the day, that's all teams are looking for is a franchise quarterback. So I think Texans to the Steelers actually works. Different divisions and whatnot.
Because he's still on the active roster. They haven't put him on any exempt list. He still got paid, his contract, everything. It was just they weren't going to dress him. And obviously he's already made it clear that he does not ever want to play for them again anyways. So that's the part where I'm just like, this situation, the longer it goes, it's definitely worth monitoring even more because he's too dynamic of a player, too good of a player to just kind of forget about,
I think with all the drama going around with the Flores type drama and whatnot, them hiring Lovey will kind of, I think it will make things a little bit interesting. I'm not going to say it's going to change his mentality, but I think it will kind of give him a brief little intervention, if you call it that. It might be too high up. It might be too much. So it's, I still got to go. I was seeing rumors to the Vikings. I seen a rumor to the Bucks.
Okay.
The Bucks would be a great landing spot. I think he has a little bit of control on where you trade him to, too. But I just think every time I think about it, every time I speak on it, I think Pittsburgh would just be a great landing spot for him. And I think it would be a great landing spot for them, if that makes sense. I just think the match would really work. I just would be curious. I think you'd have to give up a first. Or at least.
Oh, you definitely would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to give up a first and maybe a second. He's probably not the price point that Matt Stafford was at the time, but probably just a touch lower, like probably a first and second, maybe a player, or maybe a first and a third.
Jeez.
If he gets cleared, though, I think
if he gets cleared, he goes back up.
Of Absolutely, type of thing.
Absolutely.
He's just it's worth it. I think that's worth it. I think you're that first round quarterback you were looking for. If you trade that away, it probably would take something else getting involved. Like there probably have to be some type of 3-way trade, and you'd have to get a first from somebody else, and send something somewhere. Potentially, I don't think Mason's stock is just as low as everybody thinks. I think he has a little bit of value. So I think you could kind of try to leverage that right now if you could. Let people know because I don't want to say he's been hidden, but you haven't seen who he is, and he still is a drafted quarterback. he didn't have he comes in and plays decent. He plays well. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he doesn't have any type of stock. Somebody might believe in him. The Vikings, somebody like that. So it's like you can't, you might could leverage something, do some type of three-way trade, get somebody else's second, and then package that up and then ship all that out.
Yeah.
It's interesting what the Steelers are doing right now because they're in transition mode with their GM. So it's interesting to see how many moves they're even, I don't want to say attempting to make.
But like, what's the direction they want to go in when they don't even know who's going to be the guy taking over? Yeah. Because like you said, if it's somebody in-house, then you feel like the message will continue to be what it already is. But if it's a Louis Riddick type, or if it's some of these other guys that we've seen linked to the team in terms of interviews, then who knows their approach? Who knows how aggressive or conservative they could be? So, yeah.
Right. So it's like, it's interesting. They're in such a state of limbo in such a hot time. So it's like, how are you trying to handle it? I think, and I keep saying, I believe it's just going to be in-house for those type reasons. Because you have to keep moving. This thing keeps moving. It's moving every day.
Yeah.
So I think they kind of have a little idea who they want to go with and how they want their program to keep being run. And that's kind of going to determine what does all these moves right now. Because you have different options. But these options don't last forever. Like, you have to be having little talks. You have to be in motion right now.